Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today guests we have exquisite panel. Of course, it's Ken Regan. Professor Regan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on. I'm in my office.
Okay, Dan Fleetwood, Professor Dan Fleetwood, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sasha. Hi, Ken. Also in my office.
Okay, and we have Nick Palivera. He's a founder of this network. Three times Florida chess champion. So believe
I'm a recovering chess addict, but I played a lot when I was younger. I mean, sometimes way too much, I think. But
you still can make, even today, you can make probably to one of the sections of Weekend's tournament.
The challenger section.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can say it's now called the Tata Steel tournament, but for years it was the Wimbledon of chess. It may still be, but they have a lot of really good players playing in the tournament, and some surprising results, which I guess Ken's going to be showing a couple of games there, which I'm addicted to watching. So,
if we can, we should see some games maybe from the top section, of course, because that's where Gukesh is playing.
Quite right. Yes, and basically, we're seeing the emergence of a real star of the next champion. That would be Dharmaraj Gukesh, so he has very quietly stepped out to a strong lead in the tournament. This after holding off, draws against the other highest rated players, and he suddenly has. He suddenly has, I'm going to have to do this tab by tab. He suddenly has a strong lead with only one real close pursuer in the tournament. So I'm going to cover a strong win that he had in round 7. He also had wins in rounds 9 and 10, I think, against some of the lower rated players. That's how he's quietly stepped out to a strong lead. But this is where he's now on +5, which is a great score for any round robin tournament. This is where he stepped out to +3 in round 7 against Pentala Harikrishna, who is one of the more enterprising players out there. Can you see the board now?
Yes,
look at the board.
Yeah, very clear.
So what also interests me about this game is this is the textbook execution of a strategy that I dreamed when playing the advanced French more than 40 years ago. So I've always played the classical advanced French. And the Black's two main moves here are Queen B6 and Bishop D7. There's also Knight H6 and Knight GE7.
Ken, may I mention something that instead of Knight C6, Black has one very interesting line playing Queen B6.
Right away.
Queen B6. Whatever White replies, Bishop D7, and then Bishop B5. Try to change White color bishops.
Yep. And there's something that I did. So against Queen B6, I play A3 right away. And so if Knight C6, then Knight F3 transpose to what I do.
Here you have to go A5 on A3. You play F5 right away.
Right. And then there was something. Oh, yeah. If Black plays A5, then this is already a squelch for White.
No. Earlier, after A3, Black has to play A5 to prevent B4.
So
A5.
White play A5 in this position.
Absolutely. Must move.
Yeah, but then I'm a tempo up and over some lines because the point of A3 is to deny the B4 square to some of Black's pieces. So you can play A5, and that is the computer's recommendation. But then I think actually maybe I can also play Bishop D3 and get a better version of the whatever the gambit.
Milner-Berry.
Yeah.
The Milner-Berry gambit, play Bishop D3.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the old days, we could play Milner-Berry and correspondence, and it was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
Now the computers have it all worked out. But in
That's what I was going to say. It may be dangerous to play the Milner-Berry today, but it used to be a good favorite for blitz chess is to play Milner-Berry.
yeah, I won one of those in a USCF Absolute Championship back in the day, and the only reason that I won is because on move 11, Black made a howling mistake. But
It's
you know, that
actually the top line of the computer. So
Is
the
it?
computer is
Okay, cool.
so the Stockfish is saying, Stockfish 17 is saying, I want to play the Milner-Berry Gambit in this position.
Oh, it's completely sound. It just shouldn't be completely winning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Where did A4 happen? That's funny. I see. Oh, Queen E2 and A4
Yeah.
got thrown in.
Yeah, all right.
Black could have also played Knight C6 right away. And then, let's see here, though, the computer wants me to play Bishop C2, stopping A4 and guarding.
All right.
And
I
I
like
like
white
this
here.
for white
Yeah.
because you're not going to put a knight on B4 with my pawn on A3. So this position would already make me incredibly happy. So I don't know. At any rate, that's not how the game went. The game went by the
They're more classical.
Knight C6, and now Queen B6, A3 is the classic way, but Bishop D7 is also a major move.
That's all right.
And you just play the mild mannered Bishop E2 and castle. And I don't know, takes on D4 maybe a little premature. I'm not sure. And now, so the point here is that white has D4 adequately guarded, and Queen B6 can always be met by Knight A4. I'm not sure it's the best move, but let's just see what Stockfish thinks about it. Oh, actually,
G4. Hello.
G4. Oh, we get G4 already. Wow, and I guess this pawn is not on pre because white's king is on H1. That's why.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
move King H1.
The reason for King
Number of
H.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bishop E3 is
Wow,
really
very nice.
So I think Black's capture on D4 is premature. So anyway, so King H1, nice crafty move. Now Rook B1,
Mysterious rook move.
mysterious rook move indeed. Yeah. So, but the funny thing is, white's going to get kingside pressure out of it. It may be that this was guarding B2 prefatory to being able to move the bishop. So now white starts the attack. This still is the attack. And again, the point, I guess, of the move is that black cannot capture on D4, although that is, actually what the engine wants black to do is capture with this knight.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow, what's going on here?
This is fun.
If you haven't prepared this is going to be pretty crazy because black's going to be down a piece. F takes E6. So why can't we? Oh, because rook takes C3 as a pin on the B1 rook. Look
Oh,
at
how
that.
cute. Yeah.
Oh, this is wild.
Yeah, this is neat stuff.
Mhm.
That is very cute.
Yeah. So that's what black had to do. So maybe black, was thinking, well, I can't take with this knight because then bishop E3 is once again
Yeah,
very
sure.
strong, just as in the other move. But didn't see that you could take with the other knight. Wow.
Yeah. See,
So I'd like
Ken,
to
this
know-
is the kind of position in which I'm fond of saying that I can lose this easily from both sides.
Yeah. So black acquiescently retreats the knight, but
Is
now
that the best move to retreat, or is it best just take the pawn with the other knight, Ken?
yeah.
Is that the best move?
No, going into the wild complications was the best.
I mean, to me, it looks like knight takes D4 is the best move.
But I'm
Is
sure
what-
that black just got lost in those calculations. I mean, being able to see
Lost
that.
in the calculations. He should have this prepared. I
Well,
mean,
Penfold
yeah,
is still
heard of
like
your-
with a knight.
Yeah, I don't think rook B1 was in the calculation. He didn't realize that made that
Yeah.
possible.
serious rook move. Turns
But
out-
Hari Krishna made the move almost instantaneously. Look, after Queen B6 is a
Okay.
minute 27
Right.
left on the clock over there.
Wow.
Then white plays G4 and withdrew
maybe
the
he just
knight.
missed
Took
G4.
4 minutes of thought. So I guess
Cool.
Hari Krishna did think on that move.
Oops.
Mhm.
Whereas Gukesh, let's go back, actually used more than 20 minutes, used 10 minutes on Rook B1, and then used more than
Wait a second.
used
Wait a second.
14 minutes on G4.
Ken, would it be possible instead of Queen B6, play H5 before G4?
Yeah. Well, it's a logic. Yeah,
Right.
H5 is. Let's see if the computer dislikes it. B5 too is a normal move for black. The point of keeping the queen on D8 is that you have knight H4. Oh no, but you don't have it as an option because knight takes F3 is not check. So a lot of black's usual tactics don't work. Yeah, the computer says funny it is 2 lines.
Yeah, no, but this just looks like a chess game.
But
Yeah.
you know what? If I were a black player and playing Blitz, this position, I would play H5, Rook B1 or whatever, Bishop E7, and G5.
Yeah.
Threatening 4.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you play H5 here? That seems to be standard.
Yeah. Well, the Stockfish thinks it's a .030 inferior move, but
So Stockfish likes Queen B6 then?
yeah, well, or just Bishop E7, and then the point is that on G4 you can play Knight H4.
Yeah, but we all know Queen B6 isn't bad because of the shot on Knight D4 now.
Right.
So Queen B6 would be my favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
move.
there's nothing wrong with it if you're willing to go into that line and accept that you've got to calculate 3 or 4 moves pretty accurately.
Right.
Yeah. What's also funny here, like there's a lot that needs to be plumbed here, is Stockfish thinks that this idiotic looking move is White's best. So
I suspect that's what he had prepared to face.
I don't know, maybe. So G4. Anyway, so Pentalara Krishna acquiescently retreated the knight. And then Bishop E3. So this is now Rook B1. The point of that is manifest.
Yeah,
It is defended. And White has overprotecting the center. Black can't even develop comfortably. It's only 0.40 according to the engine. But morally, my expectation playing White in this position says it's already game over. Well, H5 was a good move, and now maybe G5 does put a little bit of a crimp into White's positional play. But so Black's knight emerged, but too early. So what Black should have done here is firm up
G6.
G6, absolutely. Firm up the position and then really challenge White. White probably is going to try to blast through by sacrificing stuff on F5. Or White can play on the queen side. The Rook on B1 facilitates expansion with B4. So there might be other things happening here. In fact, the computer actually says that White's knight on C3 is not loose and wants White to play B4 right away. But there's nothing wrong with build-up moves. So not playing G6 was an important lapse by Black, and Gukesh pounced right away. Not going to leave that.
Yeah, I like that.
Left.
Yeah.
This
Clearance.
is already
Reminiscence of the B6 in like game 11 of the World Final.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So F6, maybe Hari Krishna thought would get enough counterplay against the center, but there's the problem that is where Black's king is. So now we have a monster pawn on G6. And now the other funny thing about this game is it features a march by White's king to assist the attackers. So this is given as a mistake. But it's really
It
not.
doesn't look like a mistake.
No, it does not look like
I
this.
think that's one of the chess.com's kind of
Yeah.
it's overly fine-tuned.
Do they recommend Rook G1? Is that the move here? Not Bishop D3, Rook G1.
Rook G1 now, yeah, and that's what was played.
Yeah, right. That's to me that would be the natural move rather than Bishop D3.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially since the bishop on E2 was eyeing H5. But
Right. Well, also, the Rook on F1 has no future. It does have a future on the G file. So
Yeah.
that's why.
No, I mean the evaluation is creeping up there. I'm thinking that bishop d3 was just okay. I think that was
Yeah.
fine. I think the question mark is
It was gratuitous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how long Stockfish runs the
exactly.
runs the Stockfish engine for, and whatever. But my point again is if I see this board, I think White's going to win 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Black
Well, you have a lot of play. With the
counterplay.
king searching the center. Yeah.
If the position is sprouting leaks all over the place, White is coming in on c5. Now here's we're going to show a funny thing here. So knight c5. So apparently the computer thinks that that White's last move gave away knight a4 gave away a lot of the advantage in b4. And actually thinks now that Black would be completely fine with b5. Well, that's probably going to change his mind. No.
Yeah, I think this is one of those positions where it doesn't resolve for about 20 to 24 ply.
Yeah. So Black tries to stop White's knight from coming in, but now White is able to pin a weakness down. So Black now has definitely a weak pawn on the queen side, and Black is losing on the king side. So anyway, it's, can Black think of possible counterplay in this position? Well, you really can't get anything going unless maybe you can castle. So you castle. And now White snips off the pawn that Black wasn't able to defend. And this is a very weak attempt at counterplay. Now, again, maybe if I were annotating this game, I would think White's knight a4 coming into c5 was completely sensible. White has an advantage of almost a pawn. The computer says guard the e pawn. If Black takes the g pawn, you can come in on that file later, so you don't care. So the computer wanted White to overprotect the e pawn. But now the funny thing is the computer says that Black is back in the game here. I'm not sure I believe it.
Yeah, maybe with perfect play.
Well, yeah. Well, let's see. So rook takes c5 is not perfect play. Instead, computer wants Black to double up on the c file, and
Right.
that looks completely pointless to me. Maybe it keeps White's knight from entering the game. I don't know. At any rate, Black captured and White's knight enters the game, and now White is back on top. So if you're annotating this without a computer, you could very easily just pass over these moves because they look logical. But anyway, now Black captures the pawn, and this is where White now comes in to punish. So attacking on the king side via the queen side.
Boy.
Okay, now Black's knight can't move because e6 is going to fall, and e6 falls. Now Black's king. Now here comes the fun part. We capture. We invade. Okay, so now White just needs one more touch of something, and Black's position will collapse. So there we go. So take the D pawn, and now White's king starts its march. White, after gaining time, decides to go on the march. Here we go. White's king is marching up.
Kidding.
And
Lord.
here we go. This is the killer blow is dealt by White's king.
Yeah, king h6.
That's hilarious.
That's
It's another
hilarious.
way of building the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he resign?
And
That's
so Black
cool.
resigned. I mean, 2 points down.
I like it.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very nice.
world's champion game for sure.
Yeah. So
Who would have thought the king is going to just march right up and it's over? Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's yeah, or just force the trade of queens, win the f5 pawn, anything. Black's going to drop off. Okay,
Wow.
so let me show the the other game and the standings at the moment. Oh, I'm not showing the screen on this tab anymore, but the standings are Gukesh a half-point lead over Pragnananda, and they each have 2 games left. So Pragnananda and Abdusatorov has 2 games left, and he's actually fallen a point behind. So, Caruana lost to Pragnananda. Oh, I did not
When
think
did that happen?
Oh,
That happened just today?
That happened just now. Oh, let's have a
Oh,
look.
wow. Yeah,
I-
I'm saying Fabio's not doing very well.
Okay, so the other game I'm going to show is the game with. Okay, so let me go back to present, and I'll present my my main tab with Tata Steel Chess, all the information. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that happened while we were talking. Wait a second. Or I might be looking at.
This is January 31st, so these are.
I might have been looking at a previous round. Okay. Wait a second. Oh no, am I looking at the challenge? I'm looking at the challengers. Here we go. Okay. So now I clicked on the challengers, but no, I am right. This happened just now. So let's go to that game. So can you see Caruana Pragnananda?
Yes.
Okay. So all right. So let's see what happened here, and then the other game I have is Caruana's failure to convert a winning rook ending against Pentala Harikrishna. Okay, but Caruana versus Pragnananda. So I've not looked at this game, and I think I thought it was pretty quiet when I did look at this game. So obviously things burst out. So this is new way of playing against the Queen's Gambit Declined is for White, instead of playing the minority attack on the Queen side, to go on the king side where White does have an advantage of pawns. So no minority attack with your king, castle, queen side. This is swinging for the fences. So Black does the majority attack on the queen side. White takes a little time out for safety. And then F3, computer says this is too slow. The computer instead wants White to advance E4 right away. Wing attack met by action in the center. So Black solidifies. Now E4 is fine, but White captures first and goes E4. Okay, well, there's still nothing wrong with this for White. I would have been very tempted to play E5. Maybe I'm not so much on strategic chess here, but I would certainly have gone E5 at a moment's thought here. But the computer thinks that it's bad. I guess the computer just thinks that it's positionally bad. Wow. It's maybe why I'm not a grandmaster. Okay, so White plays A3 to stop Black from playing the A3 move himself, but now Pragnananda.
That kind of a sacrifice is really hard to meet practically.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, White is supposed to be okay after B3, but
this is another one of those positions where one slip and White's done.
Right. Yeah, and they don't put up the A file every day. I mean, you can expect this.
Yeah.
And after all, the game I showed a week ago against Miao Yi Lu, Black sacrificed a rook to get these kinds of moves in. Here it's just a pawn. Okay, well, we regain the pawn. Well, it's now it's saying White is doing well here again, though. So,
White's going to do well until he gets mated.
Yes, so Bishop D7, Bishop C4 is still doing well. Is this where I saw the game? Maybe here. Let's see, Rook E7. No, it's Knight D5, Rook B7. Okay, well, Black's lined up. White's solid. What could go wrong? Let's see, Rook F5, Rook C8.
I'm guessing what's going to go wrong is time pressure.
Yes, that's true. The players are down under 10 minutes, and it's move 29. Okay, well, logical moves. Okay, but now White's the advantage. The computer says White has evaporated.
Yeah, but look at the moves that the computer wants White to play to keep the game even. Basically, it's just shuffle pieces. That's not encouraging.
Right, it's not. And this is, a nice defensive looking shuffle move, but doubling on the B file would have been work for black. This is good too.
What about bishop a6 instead of rook c2? Is it possible?
Instead of rook f2, let's see, bishop a6. What goes wrong here? Rook c2 check. Let's see. Oh, knight.
That's
That's a
Oh,
shot.
that's painful.
Oh, I see.
White's
That-
going to get mated on b2 after.
Infernal tactics.
Yeah. So that's what's keeping White's bishop out of a6 the whole time. And now knight c5 played. Now queen a3, and there's your slip.
Yeah, here we go.
So you had to play queen e3. So instead queen e2 has to be the move. Even though queen, see.
Oh, isn't that strange?
Is hanging b3. Wow.
I
So-
would have never thought of that.
Yeah, I would never have thought of that either. What on earth? Why can't I just
Why
take
can't-
this pawn? I can take and take. Oh, you got rooks on c8. That's why. Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you 97 check, in fact. Okay. So, all right. So the B pawn is not hanging right away, but of course, White's down to a minute and a half before making.
Right. That's the problem.
So in time pressure, you want to make sure everything's double guarded. But now knight takes b3 works, and the reason it works is that black is going to be able to crash through on b2 check. So if bishop takes
Mhm.
b3, then rook takes c2, and this is curtains.
Goodbye.
Well, it's actually beautiful. You know what comes next?
All right.
Check.
Yeah.
Rook a2 check,
Yeah, that's me.
queen b2, a double rook sack.
Yeah,
That's
We're not quite,
lovely.
that hurts.
but
Wow.
So this is now this was one shot that loses the game in time pressure for White. So now let's see. So once again, bishop takes b3 is ruled out because after the capture is the capture on b1, the b2 square is still yawning for black's queen. So bishop d3, but you can't fault White's play at this point. Knight
Yeah, I mean,
c5, is that
it's
the
a
only
little
move to keep
over
black's
now.
advantage? No, but it is the only move that is absolutely winning.
Yeah, so the phantom weakness was on b3 and the real weakness was on b2.
Yeah. So White gave up. Wow.
Wow.
Impressive.
The
But-
2,800 players aren't doing very well in this tournament. I guess it's a hard day to be 2,800.
Yes, that's right. Eric Gaisi is, of course, has fallen down quite a bit.
Right. He's gone way down.
Remember what Tarash said? It's not enough to be a strong player. You also have to play well.
You have to play. Yeah,
True.
you have to play strong.
And
Well, and I think some of the other folks are benefiting from being
And I
able
think that-
to have, for one reason or another, Prague and some of the others who aren't rated as high have just had a lot more international experience in those top events than Aragaisi.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, showing.
And if I have time, I'll just show the end game because this end game will be talked about. It's already being talked about online
Oh, I think I saw this one. Yeah.
of Hari Krishna versus Fabiano Caruana. So again, tell you on the board. So I've done the position after turn 40 by here we go. It's White Black is just captured, and now we are in a rook end game. Pawns are even, but Black has what the computer judges to be a pawn advantage because Black is able to make a pass pawn. And in some sense, White's weaknesses are more attackable. The pawn on g2, now moving to g4, than any of Black's pawns are not really attackable, unless White can get a rook to the 7th rank. So here we go, making a pass pawn, and there's a very subtle point here. So what's going to go on is maybe Black will promote the B pawn and win White's rook. And then the question is, can White get a pass pawn on the king side in time before Black's king comes back?
Right.
The other thing that can happen is that Black can use the B pawn as a decoy in order to win white's pawns. That's what actually happens in the game. So the computer says white can hold the balance, relatively speaking, by playing king e2 or maybe king f2. But the move white actually played is very natural to keep white's king in range of the pawn. Okay. And here's the interesting point. The interesting point is that white's counterplay involves the f5 move, and especially the prospect of white's rook entering the game behind that pawn. So the correct way for black to play was to play rook f3, and this wins a pawn right away. So instead, Caruana played the rook here, to attacking white's weak pawn and trying to force this weakness. And then I guess thought that rook f3 would be on the cards. But what did Caruana miss? Because this is, so rook f3, the problem is now you've allowed white's rook to enter the game behind this pawn. So you gave white an important extra tempo. So anyway, white played b3 to tie white's rook down. And now this is where white could have probably equalized the game by playing rook f1. There have been people analyzing this on Facebook and saying that rook f1 with analysis seems to hold for white. So instead, white played rook h1, and now this was the last chance to play the rook f3 move.
Yeah.
Okay. Or king c4 first and then rook f3. I
Yep.
guess there must be a tactical reason why after king c4 white can't play rook h7. Oh, you just rook g1 and you're going to queen the pawn.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so Caruana did play king c4. White played rook h8, and then rook g1 was the wrong idea. So the right idea, the only winning move in this position is rook f3.
Right.
And then we do get a position. We get this position here. And this is what's so hard. White is going to win the b pawn, but black will be able to cut white's king off. Okay. And so let's see. White can't take with the rook because then rook f2 checks. So white has to do this with the king, and that's lost a key tempo. And let's see. So how does black cut white off? Actually, rook f2. You have to. Black's rook has to keep contact with the f pawn so that black's king can come over and take care of the g pawn. So that was the correct way. But as we see even in this line, it's really very tricky. So Caruana played rook g1 instead, threatening at b2 to queen the pawn. But now, after repetition of moves, this doesn't work for black anymore. So this and now I guess Caruana thought king takes f4, but then rook d7, and black cannot really afford the loss of that one pawn. And it's really, a very quick judgment whether you can cut white's king off by enough files from a position where black's e pawn is the only pawn left. So if we continue this line, rook d7, rook takes d5, king takes b3. Okay, this also requires a lot of judgment as to whether black can cut white's king off or not. But it appears to be that black simply cannot cut white's king off. White's king is going to enter c2 to d1, and we'll get a standard drawn position.
Is it possible to play rook f5 here?
Yeah, let's see. Rook f5, then rook h7. And now let's see. So I want to play my rook to d4 or play my rook to the d file.
Or maybe rook f8.
Yeah, rook f8, sure. Now king c2, rook d8. So this is the question. Is black advanced far enough in order to win this? And the computer's saying no, but oddly enough, two very different moves, rook h1 and king c3, are given as the only moves to draw. Most in particular, rook h2 loses to king f4, I guess because white runs out of checks from in front. So you either have to be in good shape checking from behind or in front. So king c3, then king f4. White can afford to take time to play rook h1 either immediately or later. So this is the point that when the pawn is only on its own fourth rank, the rook on the first rank has enough distance to check and drive black's king behind the pawn. And then with black's king far enough behind the pawn, then white can play a rook to the d file. And the trade of rooks will not win when black's king is behind the pawn. So that's all the logic of this kind of position. But it's really very hair trigger tactical. So
And these endings, I mean, my goodness, they're just hard.
yeah. So in any event, the way it actually played out was rook g4, and then so now we've preserved the possibility of going 2 pawns ahead, but the tactics just don't work for black in this position. Caruana also short of time. There just isn't a way to. Black has now put the forces back the way they were. There just is not a way to make progress in this position, and here the game is abandoned as a draw. So unfortunate lack of conversion. It's like the Bills having the ball with 3 minutes left and all 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a winning position, though. But
No, but that was a coin flip position.
yeah,
And yeah.
Yeah, you have to somehow find a way to win such positions if you want to take first prize in this tournament or you want to become a world champion. Somehow, one way or another, you must win these positions. If you cannot win these positions, you will not become a world champion.
yeah.
You're a strong player, but not a world champion caliber. And it's a pity because he's the only one player who played match with Carlsen without losing a single game in regulation time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really a pity. But we'll see. Let's see. He has a few years more to play top-level chess, and maybe he'll still make his play even more brilliant and will yield more points in such situations. In the meantime, thank you all very much for today's program.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you same place, same time, and we'll look at the final results of this.
Great to see you, Dan and Nick, too. It'll be an exciting weekend. So we'll see if Prague.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.